nsemmilkom u lejli tajb ilkom il-telespettaturi, nirqakom miegħi hawnhekk għal programm ieħor mhux għal kulħadd kif tafu dan huwa xahar illi qed ikolli ħafna mistiedna illi magħhom qiegħda nitkellem dwar suġġetti tal-preistorja, dwar dak li qed jiġri fil-preżent, fid-dinja, forsi relatat ma' 2012. Qegħdin anke niskopru forsi daqsxejn fuq livell differenti u daqsxejn ieħor spiritwali aħna minn aħna u naħseb illi il-konverzazzjoni tal-lum se tkun waħda ta' interess kbir għal dawn in-nies li huma inklinati lejn dawn is-suġġetti minn ara fuq minn se jkolli miegħi il-programm, naf żgur li qed isegwina u għaldaqstant nixtieqkom tibqgħu magħna l-kumplament ta' din in-nofsija. Minn hawnhekk se naqleb sintendi bl-Ingliż għaliex il-mistieden li għandi miegħi huwa fil-fatt mill-Bavarja huwa Dr. Hubert Zeitlmair. How are you?
Thank you, fine.
Thank you very much for coming and be a guest on my program. It is a pleasure. After I met Dr. Zeitlmair myself, I realized how little I knew, or rather nothing I knew, even about my own country. And maybe that is the beauty of meeting such people who open my eyes even more and show me what they have been investing so much of their time in. And Dr. Zeitlmair here has been investing a lot of time in the discovering the prehistory Malta. In fact, he is the president of the Maltadiscovery Prehistory Research Foundation. He came to Malta by accident, or rather on holiday, 17 years ago, and ever since has been coming back more than once a year. In fact, he spends his time between here and Bavaria now, because his research in Malta is a very vast one. We'll talk about what he has discovered later on. But first, my first curious question to you, as a researcher and as a paleometaphysicist, what set you to start doing these questions to yourself and then led you to start becoming a researcher in life?
Okay. I was interested in history, or especially in prehistory, since childhood. And before I came to Malta in the late 92, I was aware about the Sumerian and the Egyptian history. And during my stay in Malta, the first stay in 92, I saw the first time the Maltese temples. It was Imnaidra and Hashaim and ta.ra. And after my comeback to Bavaria, I compared the new knowledge I got in Malta with my study of the Sumerian history and buildings. And I found the connection, or I found the connection between Malta and the history of the nowadays Iraq-Iran era. And the god, or the builder god in this time, he was called tSi.dha. It is the same like the constructor or god of the scribes of the Egypt. It was Thoth, the same. And he built some structures in an oval way. And this was similar to the temples I found in Malta.
Wow, okay.
And this was the beginning of my research in Malta, because I wanted to close to make it for me the connection,
yes,
Malta and the Sumerian culture, which were 6,000 years old to this time.
Yes, yes. In 1999, you also did a really intense search in the underwater of the coast of St. Julian's, and you found a missing temple. The missing temple, which is you now called Jebel Jol Bahar, right?
Yes.
Okay. What can you tell us about this temple, and why is it important? Why is this the missing link?
Okay. It was never my desire to make a discovery. So it was done in accident, the same like I came a couple of years before. So as I told you that I found or assumed the connection between Malta and the Sumerian culture, I was the opinion that the Maltese temples because at 99 I knew that there were about 23 on the island, and they were built around the now recognizable coastline. And I was the opinion that these temples were made up as a huge stone calculator calendar. And in order to fulfill the scale of the temples around the island, there was, in my opinion, to this time, one temple missing.
Okay.
And at the beginning I thought it is on land. And I was a little bit sad because this land is totally overbuilt by the city of St. Julian's and Slima.
Okay.
And I was guided or whatever by a Maltese former teacher named Joseph Elul from Zurich. From Zurich? Yes. And he told me, did you forget all that what you got taught at school? When you are looking for another temple, you have to go out into the seabed, because during this time Malta was quite larger. And so this was the beginning that I focused my attention out to the coast. And then he gave me a photograph made up in 1941 by the Royal Air Force. And this photograph showed a reef outside underwater, and this was the only one possibility to locate a temple.
And what does it mean? What does it mean now that there is this other temple? What does it mean to you? What does it tell you about Malta?
Okay, when I found this temple, the ring of the temple around the island were closed. And so I thought, like in the calendar with 12 months, we have 12 plus or 24 temples in order to calculate the month in the heaven.
Wow.
Around.
So with your research, you have led, obviously, us all to understand that you see Malta as you connect Malta with the mythical civilization of Atlantis.
Yes. So, because the Sumerian tales always talk from a time before the flood.
Right.
So they mention a high cultured civilization, but they never mentioned Atlantis. Atlantis is a very young meaning.
Word, it's a young word.
So I was searching about the first human civilization on Earth.
Okay.
And I thought, when I found this temple and when I could make the circle closed with the calendar, the high civilization or this human were living here and were working with this beautiful buildings, or in this beautiful building, when they were still
before the Ice Age.
Before the flood came.
Before the flood came, sorry,
yes.
Before the flood came.
Yeah.
Many other people think like you now. They say, yes, Malta, there is a big possibility that Malta was and is, or rather was the place of the oldest civilization. What does the oldest civilization mean to you? How long ago are we talking about here?